Michael, I don't mean to be starting nothing, but you know how you pay good money to make sure that Cirque du Soleil is in tip-top shape? Jermaine is around here breaking up everything, girl. Hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's lookies would be our Priscilla personality frames. I forget which number this is, but go on over there and check it out. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about, what's this lady name? Jackson Family Values. Memories of Madness by Peggy Maldonado, Nada Jackson. The devastating message Jermaine had left on the mirror in our room was burned into my brain. I remember my hands shaking as I dialed my mother's number. This would be one time I would not turn to Catherine. You don't need to no more, because she taking the doopy juice. Catherine is on that doopy juice, girl. Okay? It's called the Joe Jackson Doopy Juice. My mother and Willie came. Willie is her brother, okay? My mother and brother Willie came and offered comfort and sympathy, but I knew I would never feel safe in that house again. Jermaine wasn't around the night that her family had came, but he was there the next morning. He didn't apologize. Instead, he blamed me for aggravating the situation to the point where he had to do something. I said nothing. I knew the direction our relationship was taking. I was fighting a war with a stranger, and the only question now was when the next round would begin. I didn't have long to wait. In mid-July 1993, Jermaine and I went to the country western club in Santa Monica called Denim and Diamonds, where Suzanne DePaz was having a birthday party. Everyone was having a good time until Jermaine, fueled by Long Island iced teas. Ooh, them Long Island iced teas, them niggas will get you every time. That's why I ain't never do them. Okay, but I knew when I was at the bar and I would see somebody be like, can you get me a Long Island iced tea? I knew to get from round him or her, whoever was drinking them, Jones, stay the away. Okay, because them Long Islands will put you on your ass. Everyone was having a good time until Jermaine, fueled by Long Island iced teas, decided I was flirting with my handsome hairdresser, Nick Chavez. Jermaine grabbed me by the back of my hair and pulled me through the crowd and out into the parking lot. I was screaming for him to stop, but he wasn't listening. Child, he made a spectacle that night. Okay? This girl around here screaming, call the police on this. Anyway, this girl hops into the Mercedes and races home. It didn't matter because Jermaine was right behind her in a taxi. You know, this is 1990s sometimes, because this is before the Uber. And me and my wife was watching the Wire the other day. I said, wait a minute. You know what's crazy? The original Uber drivers started in Baltimore. Because, you know, they got this thing that they just stick their hand out and anybody just stop. And you get in their car. Anybody. That's crazy to me. This scenario would repeat itself in various locations with various players, but each time the result would be the same: insane behavior and general craziness. It was giving me a headache. Migraines, actually. Physical violence was not my style, but I was not above a little abject begging. I went to Catherine to plead with her to front me some money so that I could move out. And with my kids. I thought she'd be happy to have all the fighting and violence come to an end. Her response would always be the same. Stay, Peggy. You're overreacting. I found it Hard to believe Catherine thought I was overreacting, considering all the broken objects around the house. One afternoon, I confronted Leah, the bongo, because you know what you do on a bongo, right? You bang it, right? One afternoon, I confronted Leah, the bongo. I was standing at the top of the stairs as she walked through the foyer. I didn't mince words. I wanted her to know she was no longer welcome around me, my children, or Jermaine. I shouted for her to leave. Get out! Then I added the words, voodoo witch. Okay, I admit the name calling was pretty immature, but I felt I was at the end of my rope. Girl, wait a minute, girl. You got bigger problems than calling her the voodoo witch. Girl, do you have hands? That's your number one concern. Do you have hands? Because for some reason, pretty girls, attractive women, think that their beauty will, I don't know, it's like they think their beauty is some kind of force field around them that won't allow them to get their ass kicked. I ain't never felt such. I ain't never seen such. It's just something that they believe that, oh, I'm so super duper fly that this girl will not have the audacity to come over here and smack me in my face. What? Jermaine and Catherine came out of their rooms just as Leah took off her shoes and rushed up the stairs to attack me. See, Leah the bungo, she got that work for your ass. Okay, your beauty is not going to shield you from this ass whooping, girl. She pulled my hair, knocked me down to the ground, and tried to hit me in the face with her shoe. Jermaine grabbed her arms and pulled her off of me. See, I don't know one lady of leisure that do not have hands, because sometimes they got to fight them tricks off. And Leah the bongo, girl, I know you old married woman now with a baby. Okay, you done turned your life to the Jesus or whatever the Gabonians worship. Okay, I don't have no problems with you, Leah the bongo. Okay, but everything in this book says that you was an old lady of leisure for the jet. She pulled my hair, knocked me down to the ground, and tried to hit me in the face with her shoe. Jermaine grabbed her arms and pulled her off of me. As he did, I looked up and saw Jeremy and Jordan were in the foyer. Humiliated at having my son see me involved in a fist fight, I grabbed my car keys and raced from the house. Girl, you started it. I jumped into my Mercedes and sped out the driveway past the surprised security guards. It wasn't until I hit the nearest main street that I realized what I had done. I was in my car while my kids were still at the house with Leah the bongo and Jermaine. I made an illegal U-turn and returned to Havenhurst. When I entered the house, I heard voices coming from the guest room where Leah stayed. I walked into the room and in front of Leah, Catherine, and Jermaine made my stand. I am not the type of person who gets into fistfights, Leah. Well, what did you expect to have? If you call her a voodoo witch, what do you expect, for y'all to just have a spat? Pretty girls think they got a force field around them that will not allow them to get an ass whooping. Leah wasted no time in responding. She almost knocked Catherine over trying to get at me. I fought back as best as I could, blocking her fists as she swung wildly at me. Once again, Jermaine pulled her off of me and I went running up the stairs to my room. I thought Leah would be history after that exhibition, but I hadn't counted on the Jacksons' quirky brand of logic. Oh, so you provoked her. I didn't know you could fight like that, Jermaine said to me, obviously pleased to be living with a duke 'em out kind of girl. But Jermaine, she got her butt beat though. But Jermaine liked the fact that she tried. She get an A for effort. Neither Catherine nor Jermaine seemed to realize this sort of display might be damaging to my children. Only the combatant, Alejandra, told me in her broken English that I should leave. Oh, Margaret. Oh, that, Peggy, you should leave because eventually I'm going to crawl on top of your husband and have kids with him. Okay, I'll move forward. Oh, Margaret, she said, Jermaine is crazy. He love you, but he don't know how to show it right. You should go quick before something really bad happens here. Like Leah the bongo and Alejandra start hunching your husband in your face. Curiously, as our relationship continued to disintegrate, so did his interest in our children. Jermaine was spending more and more time away from home. He traveled to Switzerland on mystery trips and often was in New Jersey with Bob Petrella working on the Jackson Family Honors Show. Jermaine had hired Gary Smith as the executive producer of the special, which was a smart move because Gary is well regarded in the entertainment industry. The periods when Jermaine was out of town became my periods of peace and quiet. As soon as he returned, I could depend on instant drama and continuing chaos. He now became violent without any provocation, and breaking, busting, and crashing sounds accompanied every argument. Girl, call Michael. Michael, I don't mean to be starting nothing, but you know how you pay good money to make sure that Cirque du Soleil is in tip-top shape. Jermaine is around here breaking up everything, girl. I was frightened because Catherine was traveling and was away from the house for days at a time. With Catherine gone, Jermaine and Joseph became lord of the manor, and the person these macho men usually chose to bully was me. On the evening of August 23rd, 1993, NBC TV in Los Angeles televised a special report. Police had entered Michael Jackson's Neverland compound and Century City condominium, armed with search warrants. The news report said that it was part of an ongoing investigation of Michael. The charge, child. The concept that Michael Jackson could M a child is absurd to me. There is nothing I have ever seen in this man during all the years I've known him that would ever suggest he would be capable of carrying out such a heinous act. I didn't believe a word of it, and neither did anyone else in the family. As jealous as the brothers may have been of their superstar brother, they couldn't believe it. It absolutely couldn't be so. I'm not going to get into all of this because I don't want to. Period. This is not about discussing MJ's case. Okay, this book is not about that because that's a very serious matter. And if you guys know, I try to stay away from unfunny things. But what I will say in regards to this matter, everybody gets a turn. What's the dude from House of Cards? He got his world snatched from him. It's a lot of people that did offenses towards children and women when it was all hush hush. I ain't gonna say it was never a problem. I'm going to say that it was hush hush and they let things like that happen. I also believe that Michael Jackson was a victim of that also. You know, a lot of people coming out talking about that casting couch. That casting couch is something vicious. And a lot of women and young men become victim to it. And now in this generation, they're calling it out so that it won't happen anymore in the future. So those people, including Quentin Tarantino, who haven't gotten caught yet. I love him to death, but Quentin Tarantino, you know you like to honk black women's titties, okay? But the behavior that was hush-hush in the past is no longer hush-hush. People are protecting their own asses now. I don't have nothing to do with that. You can't do those kinds of things no more because people don't want to be associated with it. People want to maintain their reputations now. He did it. LaToya appeared on the Today Show saying she knew Michael loved to entertain lots of little boys in his room at Havenhurst, which was outrageous since the little boys he entertained were his own favorite nephews, Taj, Terrell, and TJ. That's Tito's kids. You know he loved Tito. They frequently visited their Uncle Michael and spent hours playing video games and watching movies with him in his room. Meanwhile, Jermaine, Catherine, and Joseph flew to Taiwan, where Michael was now torn. To all the world, the gesture was to show support for Michael. What the press didn't know was that in his pocket, Jermaine had a letter of intent for the Jackson Family Honors Show, which he was determined to get Michael to sign. Ooh, Jermaine, you nigga, you.
gonna go.